According to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, Kyrie Irving is close to finishing up the requirements as set forth by the Nets for him to come off his suspension. And Woj just saying he may play Sunday against Memphis. Rob, your thoughts?
Well, if he's done everything, they said it was at least 5 games, so it's been a little bit more than that. And if he's
7 at this point, yep.
Right, and if he's satisfied, your employer, right, because they felt like they needed to suspend you, if they feel like you've done the necessary steps, you got your head on, screwed on right, you're not going to be a distraction going forward. I'm sure that's the biggest thing. They want to, let's play basketball, let's get a season going. Can we get out of the headlines? Let's be in the headlines because we're winning basketball games, not for other stuff. And I'm sure if they feel that way, Chris, you're going to pay him. He's on the team, and if you're not going to get rid of him or not play him, then you got to get him back into shape to be back on the court and do what he does, which is he's a tremendous basketball player. So I'm not surprised. I didn't think it would be that long, to be honest. I said to you, I thought once they came back home that he would play.
Yeah, I hope we see him on the court. I was talking to somebody in the league today that was saying there was a strong sentiment within the Nets. Not everybody, but some sentiment that people didn't want him back. And so I'm glad it looks like, we'll see him back on the court soon. Rob, they're 4-3 without him. They were 2-7 or 2-6 with him. And what do you think? I mean, obviously, they got off to a hot start. I'm looking at last night as obviously an aberration.
That's an aberration. People aren't going to shoot 60-some%.
And you know how you covered the league. You know how these West Coast trips go. I mean, that's why teams don't go on West Coast trips and generally go undefeated, or if you're 500 or close, you're good.
You're happy. You just don't want to be 0-4 or 0-5.
Right,
that's what you don't want.
You're on the road so much. So I'm not saying they've fallen off because they lost to the Lakers and the Kings, but they got the Trailblazers coming up. That's their next game. What would you do with Kyrie as far as playing him? I said it wasn't my idea. I heard it from Ephraim Salam when he was filling in from you. I thought it was a good idea for you. Kendrick Perkins, I think, may have said it as well, someone was saying. But I kind of 4-3 isn't spectacular. So maybe you just put him back in the starting lineup. Particularly if your defense is horrible again, Rob, against the Trailblazers. If they trounce you and they put up 130 plus or whatever, maybe you just say, you know what, we just got to go with our best players and put Kyrie out there in the starting lineup. If you win, maybe you try to bring him back off the bench and see how that goes, just from a chemistry standpoint.
Yeah, I just think they're going to put him back in. I really do. If there was 6-0 or whatever, Chris, then I think you could really say to yourself, hey, something's going on here. We like what we got. And he's just a talented player, so hard. I think Kyrie is one of those guys, Chris, once he's not a good player or once his skills diminish, people will quickly move off of him. But
what do you mean? People
just wouldn't want him. You know what I mean? Like once he loses.
Don't you think it's on the table? That this is his last year?
No,
not yet.
Not yet.
What does he have to do?
Because I still think that there's always somebody who thinks, Chris. I think that there's always one more move, even after you blow up. People thought AB, and I'm not saying they're the same people.
Well, he's gone.
No, I know, but he got 3 chances, is what I'm saying, even after Pittsburgh. He got 3 because he was that talented. Who's the other receiver, the wide receiver? His name skips my mind with the drug. He's been suspended 8 times for drugs in the NFL. He's so good.
He was with the Chiefs. I can't think of his name.
Oh, God. Why can't we?
Yeah, he was with the Chiefs, just with the Chiefs.
It's just on the tip of my tongue. But you know what I'm saying, Chris? He was so – Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon.
Chris, How many chances did he get? And
It's
I might
marijuana.
be exaggerating.
I mean,
no,
it's marijuana.
No, but I'm just
it's
saying.
Not even
but
a big deal anymore, to be honest.
no, but at the
to
time when he was
society.
being suspended, it was. He kept. You know what I mean? He couldn't stay clean as far as tests for the league.
And I hope you're right, because I think Kyrie is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and hopefully this doesn't impact his ability to get in there. He's phenomenal individually. But obviously, and even before this, there were issues. It was the vaccination process that he wouldn't go through. Before that, there were issues with the hiatus, just taking a week or two off here or there. And were the injury issues. Like, there have been so many things, and I think, as great as he is individually, he just hasn't shown that he helps you win other than when he's with LeBron James. And so I think this year is big for him. Like, if he comes in, he's balling already. I mean, he was averaging darn near 30 points, when they were 2-6. He's averaging 27 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. So he's playing great basketball individually. But if he doesn't help the Nets win, and I'm not saying a championship, I'm saying win at a level that people would say, you know what, they're doing what they should with KD and Kyrie and some role players. Because obviously, Rob, it ain't a big three no more. Ben Simmons is, I hopefully he gets back at least to what he used to be, but I don't know. It's not
He's
looking
not there
good
yet.
right now.
Right.
He ain't even close. But anyway, I think if he does that, then you're probably right. He gets a shot. But if they underachieve and win at a very low percentage with him out there, I'm not sure anybody's going to pick him up, because ultimately you want him to help you win.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree. I think he's way too young. I think there will always be somebody, Chris, who will give somebody a chance because of his past record, because he won a championship, because he has that potential. Hey, Brooklyn was a bad mix. Oh, they didn't know what the organization was doing. We'll get this right. We'll fix this. All we need to do is open our arms to Kyrie and embrace him and tell him he's great. That's all the kid is looking for. I'm just telling you, like, this is what owners do all the time. Like, you go, I can't believe so-and-so is going to sign him. I can't believe this team is going to give this guy another shot after we've seen what he's done in the last 2 places he was in. There's always somebody who believes that Chris, this is your Creole. One man's chicken is another man's gumbo. You know what I mean? Like that's always it.
I got to be Creole to know that.
Right?
How do you think the Nets should use Kyrie Irving when he comes back? And do you think he may be playing for his career, to extend his career past this season when he comes back? Your thoughts?
All right, Chris, let's kick it off with Mark in Sacramento. You're on The Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What you got, Mark?
What's going on, gentlemen?
What's up, man?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing today?
Great.
Real quick, on this one, I think he's definitely playing for his career. And I hope he learns how to control something. He has this uncontrollable defiance about him. And I agree with you guys about his talent. That's unquestionable. But at some point, the defiance and just the uncontrollable the way he expresses himself, he's got to get a hold on that. And I love when he speaks. He's an intelligent young man. But sometimes there's a place and time not to speak. And Kyrie seems to keep stepping across that line, and he doesn't check his facts. So he gets himself in trouble. And I want him to grow up. I think he's still growing up. I really do. He's learning some hard lessons. But he's doing some growing. I think, Chris, you said it. He's still searching for himself. I have boys that age, and I see them kind of doing the same thing. They're knuckleheads, but they're learning. And I see some parallels with that. And real quick, I want to say about Durant. Watching him play without Kyrie, it reminded me of the early LeBron, Boobie Gibson, Verjao teams where LeBron had to do it. I would love to see Durant where they got him enough talent like Giannis. You're no more superstars. Get away from that. Get enough talent and let turn Durant loose. He's never been turned loose. He's been with Russ. Then he goes and plays with Steph. Then he goes and plays with Kyrie. I want to see him for a year be turned loose with enough talent. Well, I think he could win like Giannis without having to have two other superstars, but just upgrade. Turn him loose. It'll make him score those 50 points. It'll make him score those 50 points you say he didn't want to do.
You make some interesting points about Durant. We're going to get into Durant later.
Chris, in the third hour, we'll definitely do that.
Haynes, of Bleacher Report, and one with Mark Spears of Anscape. Two friends.
Is it an exclusive if two people interview him? I'm just asking.
They both got him one-on-one apparently, but
is that exclusive, Chris, or is that just a one-on-one?
I mean, say what you want to say. I mean, don't ask me the question.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
You know what? When I was in journalism school, exclusive meant nobody else talked to him.
Right.
Right. That's an exclusive to me.
Well, I think Chris may. I don't know what they knew or when Spears got his interview, but when Chris released his story first. He probably thought he had an exclusive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
or
maybe
he knew. I don't know. Maybe he knew Durant.
But you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. But it was good.
No, I'm not mad at anybody. Yeah, I'm just saying.
We'll get to them. And it's interesting what he said about Durant, Rob, because LeBron did carry. He didn't carry these teams, these no-name supporting cast to championships, but he certainly carried them to the finals and to deep in the playoffs and to great regular season records. Giannis obviously won. Now Chris Middleton is a star, a legitimate all-star.
And
Drew Holiday is a very good player. But
Chris Middleton was a second-round pick.
Right.
With the Pistons, Chris. I remember when he was trying to get his footing and he just wasn't ready. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't happen overnight for Chris Middleton.
Mark brings up an interesting point, though, Rob, about KD, because right now my feeling is KD couldn't do that. He couldn't do what LeBron and Giannis did. They are both all-time elite defenders when they were in their prime. KD's not. He's not a bad defender. He's a good defender. But he's not a game-changing defender like those two were in their primes. And Giannis still is, of course. But we probably won't know, Rob, because, Westbrook, as great as he was, Westbrook also probably thought he was the first option on that team. I think Kyrie, obviously as much respect as he has for KD's game, like Russ, I think he has thought of himself as the first option. And then, of course, in Golden State, I mean, they just had so much firepower and they were a great team and played team basketball. So, Rob, we may not get to see KD in a situation like LeBron or Giannis were in. And to be honest, Rob, at this stage of his career, even though he's still great, I mean, it would have been better to see him at 28 like that. Because I think at 34, that's probably asking too much.
You're probably right. At this point, this is later in his career, Chris. He's already played a lot of games. Yeah. He's also had something that those guys didn't have, the injuries. Like, let's just be honest and let's be fair. LeBron didn't have those kind of injuries where he lost the whole season and a half or whatever it was. And then last year he lost like 30-some-odd games. These are major injuries.
Right.
And the same thing with Giannis. So I think it's a little different. And I want to say real quick, I think we could have a better gauge, and it's just how sports goes with injuries. But if he played, Chris, and he had his full complement of players and people weren't, every turn somebody was out or hurt or didn't want to get vaccinated or whatever it was, he's had an unbelievable bad stretch. It reminds me of when Ken Griffey went to the Reds, Chris. Remember that from Seattle?
Yeah, that's a good
Ken Griffey would have passed Hank Aaron first. He was in line ahead of Barry Bonds, and he had 4.5 years there, Chris, where he was banged up and hurt and was never really
the same. Yeah,
he never was the same. I mean, he was good.
The difference is that it hasn't so much been KD, even though he was injured. Like
right, but you know what I'm saying,
it's really been the other Harden hurt, then leaving, Kyrie hurt, anti-vax, and now this. It's always been something. So I agree with you. I don't think KD's as good as LeBron and Giannis.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying.
I hear you. We haven't. It's unfortunate, Rob, because that not only KD, who would have been the best player and leader, or at least, the as far as viewed as leading the team to a title, that threesome with Harden.
Right.
Oh my!
And we never really got to see it, Chris. We got robbed.
Never did.
We
really,
got
yeah.
robbed. We never
really
got
did.
to see it.
We really did. So